Hey, what's up guys? All right, today in this video, we're going to be talking about 5 common mistakes that you are doing in your homepage when it comes to your e-commerce store. And you are losing and leaving a lot of money on the table just because of this one problem that I'm going to share with you in this video. And even though homepage, a lot of business owners thinks that people mostly come on the product page and collections page. But if you really want to build a personal brand and you want to actually tell the consumers around why your brand exists in the first place, how your product can help them solve a specific problem in your industry. And people love getting educated nowadays. In 2025, 2026, competition is cutthroat. So you have to actually stand out and basically become the behemoth when it comes to the branding side of things. All right, if you have the best design, best user experience, it's very easy to actually convince people that, hey, looks like a legit brand and not just like another store, because every industry now has like so many stores. Most of them are shitty looking stores. So you can do these changes like literally today and basically 10x your business online. So let me actually share my screen. Let me show you what I'm talking about and let's jump right into it. All right, guys. So today I'm going to be reviewing Four Sigmatic. If you are not familiar with this brand, totally fine. These guys sell mushroom coffee and mushroom related products. All right, so it's kind of like a mix of coffee protein brand that sells to a very specific niche market. Now they have multiple categories and they do a pretty good job with their product pages and their homepage. Now, when it comes to like this specific brand, we use the same exact strategy when it comes to the whole user experience for my personal brands too. I'm in the cannabis space and I own 50 plus brands from the last 10 years. And we've been doing these specific changes that this brand do. And we see a big change with our heat maps that we run in order to see where people are dropping off when they come on the homepage. All right. So the first thing and the most important thing is call to actions. That's the first problem that most e-commerce stores doesn't use is call to actions. If you have multiple categories, you need to actually talk about either your main or your best-selling product. In this specific case, Four Sigmatic has mushroom coffee, so they have this call to actions: shop mushroom coffee. The second thing is build your bundle. Now, I'll show you this bundle page in just a second. We integrated build your custom bundle for pretty much all our product pages, and we see a big difference when it comes to selling subscription products. Really, really important. Subscription is another topic for another day, but if you are pushing subscriptions, you need to use those call to actions in your header. The second and the biggest thing that I see is a lot of static images are used in a lot of brands. When you have videos in the background, just like you see in the header section, people actually engage with these type of videos a lot. It doesn't have to have a sound. It doesn't have to have like any specific effects or anything like that. It can be just like a simple video around your products or how to use your product, or just like general lifestyle videos. We use that too for our brands and it works out really good. And if you're thinking like, hey, it will slow down my website or blah, blah, blah. It doesn't slow down website, guys. You have to compress videos and you have to use professionals in order to actually help you actually optimize these websites. So you don't actually run into problems with the website performance. If you're struggling with that, you can contact me. That's not a problem. All right. So the next section is, again, you can see right here, real premium coffee made smarter. And they're talking about their original mushroom coffee. This is their best seller. So instead of focusing on 20 different products on the homepage, focus on one or two bestseller products and why your company exists in the first place. This is the way to actually educate the consumer as well. So as you can see right here, they're using an infographic picture of the product of a coffee, and they're talking about like, hey, there are 5 functional mushrooms for focus and stress relief. We have organic Arabica coffee. Then we have prebiotics and probiotics, vitamin B12 for energy, right? So they're educating you with these infographic pictures. If I scroll further down, they're using further infographics around focus, energy, gut health, immune support, stress support. They're educating you like, hey, this is the problem in the market. Now, if I talk about like just the coffee space, a lot of coffee buyers want to focus more. They want to have high energy. They want to have a good gut. This is the biggest problem, and they are basically giving you a solution. They're not just talking about themselves. They're not talking about their brand. They're talking about the problem and how this coffee can help you with this specific problem. Now, if you see right here, unlike any other mushroom coffee, 9 in 10 Four Sigmatic buyers says it works. 94% of Four Sigmatic buyers plan to buying again. Now, what's happening here is they're using infographics mistakes around the case studies. Okay. And a lot of brands are using, especially in the supplement space, it's really important to talk about the case studies. Every brand can have case study. It doesn't really matter if you have a coffee brand or if you sell a really high ticket product that costs $10,000. Doesn't matter. It's all about how you actually showcase your case studies using infographics. If you're not into infographics and you basically stuff a lot of information onto the product page or home pages, it gets cluttered and a lot of people skip that. For my personal brands, we use heat maps and we track section by section where people are dropping off from, right? So if people are just coming here and they're dropping off from here, and if this information is not helpful, we can actually see in the heat maps, and then we can reiterate this section until people start scrolling further down to these pages. Okay, I hope you understand. Trusted by experts and performers. Now, there are two ways of doing this. For my personal brand, we don't use trusted by experts and performers because these are pretty big names, right? And what we do is we are like, hey, trusted by our community, and we use like a UGC slider. I'll show you a UGC slider in just a second, but you can actually swap this with a section that I'm going to show you further down. The biggest fourth problem is how people should expect the results, and also on top of that, how the product tastes like or how the product feels like. It can have either a taste. If you're selling clothes, it's going to have like a material of like what the material is of the product. Or if it's a technology related product, then it's going to be like, okay, what is the technology and how it works, right? So you can see right here, your coffee, but better, made with organic Arabica coffee, blah, blah, blah. Then they're talking about flavors, and then they're talking about expected results. Here, they're talking about that it's the USDA organic, it's tested for toxin, it's real mushrooms. And then you can see the label in a pop-up design as well with the full ingredient list right here and with the call to action. Again, they're not talking about 20 different products. If I scroll all the way up down, they're talking about just one mushroom coffee. Right here, they're talking about one problem. They're talking about case studies. Here, they're talking about one product only. They're not talking about 20 different products. It gets cluttered. Now, if you have multiple categories, I'll show you a section that you can actually use in order to actually educate consumers around other products as well. What one product is all you need in order to stick with one. Now here where it gets interesting, it says build your bundle, free shipping on orders, $59, 60-day money back guarantee. Here they're introducing multiple products that they have, and you can do the same thing as well. So best sellers, coffee bags, instant coffee creamers, coffee pads. They have teas. They have friends of coffee, which is basically proteins, powders, and creamers and capsules and stuff like that, right? So here you can introduce like different product categories, and here they're giving you an option to actually add the product and build your specific bundles. If you see right here, it says 30% off first subscription. Hurry offer ends in timer with 20% off recurring orders, 0 products selected, and then we can actually start adding the products. Now, if you see right here, this is a really good engaging product strategy that these guys are using, right? They're trying to sell you a subscription, but they're also introducing you different products. Now, this is one of the biggest common mistakes that people do with their e-commerce stores is they focus on like too much on like product pages, collections pages, but homepage is the backbone of your business. This is where people come, they get familiarized with your products. This is where they come, they want to know more about your company, why you exist in the first place, what your product do specifically, how your product can help with their specific problems. This is extremely important, guys. The last section is basically comparison section, why their product is better than anybody else in the marketplace. And then they have UGC section. Now, this is the UGC section I was talking about that you can basically swap up with the trusted by expert if you don't have experts in your specific e-commerce space. But if you do, good, you need to flex. UGC content, and here this section is all about like why the company exists in the first place, when they started, and where they are heading towards to when it comes to like the brand. Now you have to talk about your specific company as well. It's important. If you own a personal brand, this is the type of stuff you need to do. You don't have to talk about your brand and like, hey, look at us, this is what we do, blah blah blah. No, you need to talk about the problem, and you need to talk about the solution of how your product can help a specific problem. If you do too much of like, hey, this is our brand, this is what we do, blah blah blah, it backfires a lot. We did this mistake like 6 years ago with our personal brand, and it's all about consumer. It's not about you, it's all about consumer, but you can still integrate your company, yourself at the end of the page no problem. People love seeing this, but people don't love seeing a lot of this. You need to understand like, hey, we need to talk about a consumer, not just ourselves. So if you're struggling with custom landing pages, custom design for your Shopify stores, you don't know what you're doing, your offer sucks, your conversion rate is low, and you want to build a really, really nice user experience and actually a personal brand for your e-commerce store, be sure to schedule a free call with me. My calendar link is in the description below. I'm happy to help you, and just focus on 2 or 3 main things, which is just like talk about one product. Don't talk about multiple products at the same time. And the second and the most important thing is talk about a problem and how your product can be a solution to that specific problem, and use a lot of social proofing just like I showed you in this example. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Good luck. Bye.